I've been coming to St James Methodist Church down in Pensnet for 10 years. Dudley and this area is quite a deprived area, and a few years ago we had quite a few far-right marches of like the EDL and Britain First, and I was involved in youth work at the time in another capacity, and the adults, the children's and young people's parents were kind of feeding lies and bad things to their children and kind of invoking hatred onto them for other faiths in the area. And I thought, that's not right, you know, that's not what should happen. I was in the street and there was a young lad, and like I say, I was only 18 at the time, he was only about 7, and some older lads about 13, 14, so not that much older really, were shouting racial stuff at him, and he had nowhere safe to go to kind of say, you know, I'm a Muslim, I just want to interact with other young people. It makes no difference what the faith is. I just want to make friends. And he was kind of alienated in the local community, the local area that I grew up in. And that was the kickstart for me. And so I got the backing from the reverend that was here at the time, Caroline, who was our superintendent as well. And then also from the Anglican Church locally, from the circuit and the district, and set up Fusion Youth Group back in 2014, and since then we've seen over 200 young people of different faiths come through the door, which is brilliant. You know, it's the most successful interfaith youth group in this area. And we saw a decrease in young people just hanging around on the streets. Those children that have left us, have left the youth club because of their age, still come back down and say hello, and kind of say thank you for everything that you've done, not just to me, but to all the other volunteers and everyone that's involved, really. I've organised a board. We've got the leader of the local Hindu temple. We've got the leader of Dudley Central Mosque on the board as well, and the leader of Netherton Islamic Centre. I was on the computer one day, just surfing the internet, doing different things, trying to come up with some games for the youth club and some different ideas. And that's when I came across James 2:17. So I think that was the moment when I started understanding what God and Jesus was really saying within the Bible, by saying, you know, faith without action and just words. You know, you've got to walk the walk and not just talk the talk, so to speak. Does anyone know what a selfie is? Yes, you all know what a selfie is? I actually like to call it a facey. So what do we do when we take a picture? We look at something, we think, that's what I'm going to take a picture of, and we focus. I mean, my first service I ever did while I was on note with my my tutor, I remember getting to the gospel reading just halfway down and stopping and saying, I can't do this. And he was sat on the front row, and the whole congregation, it was here luckily in my home church, the whole congregation, you know, told me to keep my chin up and keep going. And so I did. I carried on, got to the end, and you know, I was a little bit hesitant at times, but like you say, first time's always a learning curve, and I've grown a lot since doing that.